night and welcome to Benalmadena's first English news broadcast. Digital Costa del Sol brings you every Friday all the information about this week's news. The Welsh community will celebrate the Feast of St. David this year in a telematic way through a streaming on their Facebook page, where there will be all types of acts with singers and cookery shows.
Benalmadena's mayor, Victor Navas, who is also the Foreign Residents Councilman, announced on Monday that St. David's Day, patron saint of Wales, will be celebrated electronically in 2021. Next Monday, March the 1st, we will celebrate St. David, a traditional festivity for the Welsh community that has been celebrated in the municipality for the last 10 years. The Welsh Society Costa del Sol has been raising funds for years for charities both here in Málaga and in Wales through annual celebrations such as St. David's Day, held every March 1st, or the Christmas Festival of Cultures in Arroyo de la Miel. Unfortunately, due to the situation resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic, St. David's Day will be celebrated online, with musicians and personalities intervening on the Facebook page of the Welsh Society Costa del Sol, in addition to the broadcasting of videos on Welsh culture and gastronomy. The Welsh Association has already been raising funds for 9 years for various associations of Down syndrome, cancer, Ty Olwen Hospice, and along etc., both here and in Wales. During the St. David's 2020 celebration, alone they raised €2,500. If there is a municipality that welcomes with open arms people from all over the world, that is Benalmádena. We have more than 120 nationalities living together in peace and harmony, and we are enriched by the diversity that each citizen brings to the city. We also spoke with Gary Benham, member of the Welsh Society Costa del Sol, who explained us that wanted to do something to celebrate the date and bring some joy to these harsh times.
It's a bit of an atypical year this year. We did want to make an effort of doing something, and especially in these testing times, you know, everyone's suffering, especially with local isolations and everything like this. So we would like to do something, even if it's online. And always for a worthy cause. I mean, I don't know if you know that every year we do it for a donation to a charity. This year we've chosen the FEC, the Fundación Española del Corazón. So we thought it was only apt that we should donate as well to a Spanish charity this year. And it's just to bring a little bit of a, you know, joy back into these, as I say, troubled times for everyone, just to cheer everyone up, and always for a worthy cause. So yeah, and always representing the dragon.
He also told us that he could about what they have prepared, as most of the program is still a secret, maintaining the wow factor.
The Welsh have definitely said that you know, we've all tried to come together as well, and we can't thank the Spanish local authorities enough for everything that they've done in this time. But we've also got a few people, as it's online, it's easier for people to send in stuff from Wales. So we've got some local celebrities. Everything's a bit hush-hush at the moment, but if you do go on our Facebook page on the 1st of March, it starts at 2 o'clock kickoff. So we will be, you know, there's a few surprises in there as well. Local artists up and down the coast, well-known names like Mama Kath and the Soul Sisters, and as well Ricky Lavatsa and Laura Ellen, and Megsy's also doing a few songs for us, as well as some people back in Wales. We've also got cookery shows, so just to keep people involved in doing things at home as well. Yeah.
We are sure that our favorite dragon will be present, and among the shows and acts they have prepared, there is a cookery demonstration where we will be able to learn how to make Welsh cakes.
Well, the signature dish, obviously, for the Welsh is the Welsh cakes, so we're going to be doing a lot of, I mean, I know the dragon personally is one of their favourites. Also, another typical dish is leek and potato soup. But we have got some of the lesser known, especially internationally, like Barra Brith, which is also like a cake as well that's cooked by some of the people on the coast that are very, very, and I may say I've had a few this morning, they're very, very good at it. Everybody's welcome as per every year. We welcome all sorts of nationalities, and even though the rugby's on at the moment, we don't prejudice. But yeah, it's 2 o'clock on the Welsh Society Costa del Sol Facebook page, and we'll be going through all afternoon, as I say, from 2 o'clock onwards. And yeah, it's just generally just to liven everyone's day up and to still carry the flag for Wales. Cymru am byth.
The Welsh Society Costa del Sol is a group of expatriates who have come together with the aim of raising funds for various charities, both here in Spain and in South Wales. Since 2012, they have raised over 13,000 euros for charities including Down syndrome associations, the Premature Baby Unit at Malaga Maternity Hospital, Aged Care, and the Spanish Association Against Cancer, among others.
The Next Generation funds will be a very important injection of capital that will help to overcome the economic crisis that is causing the pandemic, and Benalmádena is doing its homework to not miss the opportunity.
Last week, Benalmádena's mayor, Víctor Navas, held a meeting with Manuel de la Rocha, director of the Central Government Economic Affairs Department, to learn firsthand the inner workings and management of these funds for recovery and resilience. Navas highlighted the difficulty that local administrations face in accessing and managing this type of funds. City Council has little experience with European funds, but the last legislature we worked to gain access to EDUSI funds, obtaining an investment of 10 million euros. Now we are in the design phase of the projects that will be co-financed by this City Council with another 2.5 million euros, resulting in a strategy of enhancement for Benalmádena Costa. Due to this lack of experience, municipalities often have difficulties both in the process of obtaining and managing these European funds, and therefore it was important to participate in this meeting. The mayor highlighted the productivity of the meeting, although they have had an unpleasant surprise. It has been a very productive meeting, which has shed light on what situation these European funds are in right now. Although, unfortunately, we were surprised because we thought that the Junta de Andalucía could have a much more advanced management model to be implemented. But we were sad to see that by asking the municipalities to provide projects for these funds next generation, they only intend to make an inventory while the European Union is demanding the administrations a precise roadmap and priorities based on development objectives. For Navas, the important thing is working in order to ensure that the European funds reach wherever they are needed, and stress that it is vital that the regional government creates a roadmap. Finally, the mayor stressed that the City Council is doing its homework and is prepared for whatever happens with these funds. Junta de Andalucía has no clear guidelines. They ask for projects and we present the Albaitar Park, but at the moment it is still a purpose of intentions. We urgently need a meeting with the board similar to this one to tell us what are the priorities and objectives to be regarded when managing these recovery funds. The City Council is now fully aware that from now on, any external funding will come through European funds, and therefore we will have to train and acquire the experience already treasured by the regional governments. Albaitar Park is a project that aims to be a green lung for Benalmádena Costa, as well as to meet the demand for new green spaces to promote recreational, sporting and cultural activities. Benalmádena is also included in one of the 172 projects requested by Diputación de Málaga for its inclusion in the Next Generation Fund, the creation of the Senda Litoral section that runs along our coast.
Benalmádena's Adolescents Workshop, organized by City Council and UMA General Foundation, is already scheduled for November and will address the impact of the pandemic on young people.
Youth Councilwoman Marisabel Ruiz held a telematic meeting with Culture Academic Coordinator of UMA's General Foundation, Luisa María del Águila, to begin preparing the themes that will focus the contest of the 4th edition of Benalmádena's Adolescents Workshops, scheduled for November. Ruiz valued these conferences as one of the biggest bets from the youth department that joins forces with the FUJUMA to provide the educational community presentations on issues that concern and affect one of the most complex periods of life. The councilwoman advanced that the contents of the 4th edition of the conference will focus on the impact caused by the pandemic of COVID-19 in young people and adolescents. This is another collective especially punished by the pandemic, as it has collision with a vital period of their lives, both for what it implies in their emotional and personal development and for being the beginning of their entry into the labor market. And the pandemic has disrupted this whole period of change so complex and important. Thus, together with the FUJUMA, an extensive program of workshops and presentations will be designed to address the impact of the pandemic on adolescents from a broad and multidisciplinary point of view. We are very satisfied with the results of the last edition, despite the limitations and difficulties of the pandemic, which forced the third edition to be held telematically. They again captured the attention of students, teachers, and parents, and we have obtained great feedback from all the participants and those involved. The Councilwoman took the opportunity to thank the involvement with the conference and work developed from secondary education centers on the area. All institutes have turned to this initiative, participating and offering all kinds of facilities for its organization. I want to thank the FUJUMA for its commitment with Benalmádena to diversify its activity in the province, making our town become a reference for advanced studies and knowledge about adolescents.
Benalmádena continues to equip and strengthen the local police force. If during last year they acquired new vehicles and uniforms, now they are celebrating tests to further strengthen the workforce, looking for 11 new members.
Security Councilman Javier Marín visited last week Arroyo de la Miel Sports Center, where the admission tests for Benalmádena's local police were hosted. After a decade without new additions, City Council will strengthen the security force staff with 11 new members. This is the first incorporation of new officers in a period of more than 10 years, with 13 officers strengthen the staff of the local police. Today begin the test for the selection of 11 agents. The remaining 2 have already been selected through mobility with local police bodies in other municipalities. Marín stressed that it has been a challenge for the government team to be able to get these new positions out due to the restrictions that the local administration has experienced the last year. With this action, we begin to alleviate the decline in staff that has dragged the force in recent years. Although we are aware that the local police requires a greater number of reinforcements, a demand that we will try to respond in the coming years. The government team is making a clear commitment to provide the staff of the local police as it should, with new vehicles and uniforms, hiring new officers, and other measures that are preparing as the reform of the communications center. We would like to have all the procedures ready for the incorporation next summer, and our desire is that they can perform their practices in Benalmádena so that they begin to perform their duties in the municipality from their appointment.
The Andalusian President Juanma Moreno announced this week that the sanitary measures to fight the coronavirus will extend until next Thursday. Meanwhile, the vaccination continues with the elderly and the teachers throughout the region. The Andalusian government announced this Tuesday that the current restrictions and measures to curb the spread of coronavirus will remain in force until next Thursday. The decision to extend the regulation was announced by the autonomic president Juanma Moreno after a regional cabinet meeting held in Ronda. Moreno also confirmed that next Wednesday, a new meeting would be held with the committee of experts that advises Junta on pandemic issues, during which further decisions would be taken depending on the recommendations and the evolution of the infection rate. The president explained that the committee of experts asked for an extra week with the current restriction to analyze the stability of the downward trend in figures. With regard to restoring movement between provinces and recovering normal business hours in the future, he made a calling for caution. We are desperate to allow more movement, but this third wave has been the toughest, with the most death, he said, adding that all the decision would be conditioned by one basic objective, to prevent a fourth wave. Meanwhile, the vaccination of people over 80 years who do not live in care homes has been severely affected as the region receives only half of the planned doses from Pfizer. Some of Malaga's health centers have had to postpone the vaccination of the elderly and are calling patients to notify them that they will receive the injection on another date, once the supply is normalized next week. Malaga Health District alone received around 1,200 daily doses, which it distributes equally among its health centers. This week, the number of vials have been reduced by half, one major obstacle faced by the health centers as they receive very few vaccines for the elderly population. The vaccination of teaching staff began on Wednesday across Andalucía, with professionals aged between 18 and 55 years old vaccinated with the AstraZeneca formula, which is now available in the region. Junta de Andalucía's Education Department will notify staff of their appointment with a place and time via COVID coordination in each school. Both teaching and administration staff will be vaccinated over 2 weeks, beginning with infant and special needs personnel. Although Junta's health and education departments foresee that the entire process will be completed in a couple of weeks, meeting this goal will depend on the availability of the Pfizer vaccine, which is the one that has been recommended for the teachers in over 55 years age group. And these are today's headlines. Benalmádena celebrates St. David. New meeting on the Next Generation funds. City Hall and UMAP prepares the youth workshops. Arroyo Sports Center hosted the local police test. Junta extend the sanitary measures until next Thursday. The weather forecast for the weekend will leave us with skies with cloudy intervals without ruling out some weak precipitation on the extreme western coast. Temperatures unchanged or slightly down. Variable light winds in the Axarquía and East region, occasionally strong in the rest. And that's all. Thank you for watching us, and remember you can stay updated on our website or social media profile on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good night and enjoy the weekend.